What a bore. They just sit there and take bennies and stay up all night with their face stuck in a bunch of books and their thumb up their ass. Oh, yes. I remember when the time when it was all very inspiring and enlightening, all this history and literature and sociology. You think learning is a really big thing, and you become this big fucking intellectual and sit around trying to out-intellectual all the other big fucking intellectuals. You spend years and years with your nose buried in these goddamn toes while the world is passing you by. Of this big old world. I've seen it all. I've done it all.
Gee. Oh, wow.
I've fought many a good man, and I've laid many a good woman. I've had riches and fame and adventure. I've stood face to face with danger and death countless times.
Hey, are you somebody famous? I think I saw you in a movie once.
Hey, try not to interrupt, huh?
You must die. I alone am best. Get him!
Every I go, people stop and they say, fly so, but got restless up. I just want what you want, push your arms around me, push your arms around me, baby. I just want what you want, push your arms around me, baby, push your arms around me, baby. It's a little stranger, show me with me. Looking at you, I wanna do it again. There's no time to think, last time I know you. We're back at home, I'm watching your song. I just wanna
here. That's kind of to be expected because I just kind of spontaneously did this, as opposed to the other streams that I did that were very, very much planned, you know, like normal people do. I didn't plan this entirely. But that's mostly because of a lot of life stuff that's been going on. Hold on, let me turn this shit off. That's mostly because of a lot of life stuff going on. And also, I made these with the intent of the VODs being the main, being the main thing. That people look at. So, hold on, that's not correct. That's not correct either. Hold on. There we go. Yay! I did it! Okay. So, oh god. There's no one here, but I'm just gonna talk anyways, because again, like, I did this with the intent of VODs being the way that people look at all this. So, today, like my other streams, we're going to listen through and commentate on my old music that I've made over the past couple years, and talk about, you know, what I was doing, why I did that, if I even remember why I did that, and what I think about it today. Now, for everyone, for everyone that looks at this VOD, and is an enjoyer of Splashduckyyy, I am going to say this in advance, and I am going to apologize in advance, because I'm going to be quite frank with everyone here that will see this VOD. I don't like Splashduckyyy. I don't like him anymore, you know? And like it's a lot of things, but I guess most of it has to do with the fact that nothing that I really made under Splashduckyyy sounded like how I wanted it to sound. Does that make sense? You know? I don't know. When I first did this, I tagged it with a bunch of shit like old school rave, happy hardcore, all this stuff. But you're gonna listen in a second. I never captured happy hardcore ever when I did Splashduckyyy. You know, I never did that. I just kind of made things under the guise of knowing what I'm doing without actually listening to what I wanted to make. None of you are going to believe me, but one of the things that inspired me to do Splashduckyyy like this was The Prodigy, of all things. But again, yeah, so you're gonna hear a lot of sour comments from me towards the Splashduckyyy tracks, because I just personally don't like Splashduckyyy, but I will still try and continue this with as open of a mind as I possibly can. So yeah, we're just gonna start with this bad boy. This is the debut, technically the debut of Splashduckyyy. Now, the name Splashduckyyy has a longer history than like the project, this iteration the project does. I initially was gonna make a bunch of like wacky disco tracks actually, under the name Splashduckyyy. It was an alias that I picked up because I like kept like daydreaming about being in the rave scene over like COVID lockdown in like freshman year of high school. I was just when there was like I wouldn't call it like a huge group of people. There was like a small group of people that just kind of suddenly dipped from my life online. And at the time, it was very devastating to me because like I basically put my like heart and soul into every relationship I had at the time. And so the idea of anyone having a problem with me felt like 30 disastrous like hurricanes in my life. But nowadays I don't really give a fuck, you know. But at the time Splashduckyyy was going to be a disco alias, so there's some kind of technically lost media out there if you want to be all wacky about that, of a really old EP that I put on SoundCloud, called Splashduckyyy Starfucker EP. that was a bunch of MIDI sort of indie disco instrumentals. And yeah, I don't know if I can even recover those, because those were on like a laptop that I am like 90% sure is just complete like metal scrap now. Because a cheap Amazon charger. So what happened was, I have this rambunctious little boy. He's a cat, orange cat named Oliver. And he was a cord chewer when we first got him, and he chewed through a charger that I had for, at the time, a MacBook Pro. That's what I was using for all of my stuff. And then I got a new one off of Amazon, and then he chewed through that one again, but because it was plugged into the wall already, it caused such a huge spark that it blew out literally everything. I couldn't turn this shit on, I couldn't, like, access anything. So it basically became a metal brick. I still have the metal brick in the garage on the off chance that I can, like, accumulate a day to try and reach like into those old files, because there was a lot of like other drafts and stuff that I get asked about every now and then. Like, I used to have a soundtrack for Friday Night Funkin' mod that was on there. There's a bunch of old like Flash animation projects. There's like this weird file that I had. I kind of dove in like head first to like this Vocaloid Lost Media community, and I thought I was a big smarty pants and accessed like a flash file of a lost MasaWorks song, and then it turned out I did not, and it was just a nothing file. But a bunch of people apparently years later kept trying to reach out to me. But yeah, so that's another thing, because I get asked that like every year basically. No, I do not have MasaWorks interface. That is not something that I have access to at all. And if I did have access to it, I don't have access to it anymore. But all this yapathon aside, like I'm trying to articulate the fact that Splashduckyyy is like way older than like this Bandcamp page. But I kind of tried revamping Splashduckyyy into like a cool like kind of, what did I tag this shit with? 90s rave, experimental EDM, electronic rave, ravecore. I did none of that on this EP. Spoiler alert, I did none of that. But we're gonna pretend that I did, right? Okay? And while pretending that I did, here's the first track of this EP. It is called Green Apple. And some of you might recognize this from a video that totally by mysterious reason got a lot of traction. A lot, quote unquote. Do my best not to laugh. Do my best not to laugh right now. Wow, guys. Just so ravecore, guys. So rave. I could rave to that, guys. That's crazy. I could rave to that. So as you could hear, I didn't actually know what I was doing. But I had this idea in my head of what like I wanted it to sound like, but I also didn't really know how to do like breakbeats when I made Green Apple. I later learned how to do breakbeats in the other half of this EP. Don't y'all worry your little heads. But the first half of the EP, I was just sort of fucking around and pretending I knew like what I was doing. And so I had this idea of like a Prodigy like song, but I couldn't get any breakbeats or anything because I didn't know how to use them at the time. So I just did that dumb fucking garage band drum machine and just hooked it up to that. It kind of sounds like an Adventure Time song if you like really think hard about it. Like do y'all know what I mean? Like a weird like background like party song in Adventure Time. Yeah, it's like that. But anyways, I remember I sent that to a friend of mine, and she was like, I'm gonna do donuts in my parking lot to this song. Retrospect. No, you weren't. No, you're not. But we kind of see just the like prehistoric like foundations of me experimenting on this EP. You'll especially see it in this bad boy. Feeling stabby. You'll never guess why it's called that. Here, have a listen. Have a listen, try and guess.
This is a certified
Oh boy. Yeah, so Feeling Stabby is called Feeling Stabby because I liked stabs. I liked stab synths. Um, I put the Brazil stab in there. Cool fact. I didn't realize that there were already like pre-sampled like Brazil stabs out there that I could download. So I made that Brazil stab. I took it from the source and turned it into a stab myself with my own hands. Um, and then uh the second stab you hear in there, not the meow synth, but like kind of like the guitar like one. That was I kind of messed around with the idea of like sampled stabs after I learned where like the Brazil sample came from. So I think if I remember right, the like the guitar kind of stab, I could find it on my GarageBand if GarageBand didn't lag so much when I streamed it. But if I remember correctly, that is sampled from a piece of like a little clip from Modify by Lemon Demon. And I'm only guessing that because there's a synth in my library called Modify Stab. So I made a stab sampling Modify by Lemon Demon. The last time I think I ever did that, like ever, was for a experimental catatronic track that I put as like a bonus track on a lot of like different like albums of mine. And it was for like a kind of defunct Christmas album project. And so I made like a creepy like synth using the first two notes of Last Christmas, like that the song by Wham, I think, right? Wham. um I don't really have much else to say about that one though. Oh, I actually do. The little record scratch sounds that you hear through everything, that's all from like this one like audio like preview video. So if you have like a really like sharp ear, you might have heard like even like from like this day one EP that you can kind of hear like the like British woman's voice going preview. And I heard that personally, but what I ended up doing is I spliced the record scratch noises in a way most of the time, to where the preview voice was also kind of spliced. Like you could hear it like in the first song I played, Green Apple, that it was like preview like that. I did that on purpose. I promise I did that on purpose. Well, half on purpose. I didn't hear the preview noises of the record scratching noises that I was using until like halfway through production of Green Apple, and I was like, whoa. But they sound so good. Yeah. The Maybe I Feel Stabby audio is an old ass skit. Was like SNL where that's from? It feels like an SNL skit. I don't know. It's just like this like criminal group therapy skit. And a lot of fandoms that I was in as a kid used that audio a lot. I know Undertale fandom was kind of crazy about that too. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about that one, I think. I mean, I don't think I need to explain what this is a certified hood classic is. Like, everyone knows where the fuck that's from. Okay, Taking My Yo-Yo for a Walk. I think this is one of the first ones. I think this is the only track, actually, in this EP where I actually use a breakbeat. So this is a legendary moment. This is a legendary moment in Splashduckyyy history right here. The first time I actually learned how to use a breakbeat was in this song right here called Taking My Yo-Yo for a Walk. Let's see if it holds up.
I want to be a yo-yo man, he cried. Make me a a yo-yo man. I want to be a yo-yo man, he cried. Make me a yo-yo man. But the yo-yo master did not answer. He just kept on yoing. I want to be a yo-yo man, he cried. Make me a yo-yo man.
The way I spliced
But the yo-yo master did not answer. He just kept on yoing. He just kept on yoing.
Star Walker.
He just kept on yoing. He just kept on yoing. He just kept on yoing.
Yo, look at this fucking bullshit. Don't flip!
He just kept on yoing. He just kept on yoing. He just kept on yoing. He just kept on yoing.
Okay, I actually still like this end part here. Not that bad.
Yo, look at this fucking bullshit.
Do a flip! I loved using that sample every time I did like a Splashduckyyy thing. I don't know why. Anyways, I actually have a lot to say about taking my yo-yo for a walk. Now that I remember, so that little tune. If you have like insane like ancient knowledge of me and my life on the internet, first of all, I'm scared of you. Second of all, you would know where that melody is from. That melody is a really old, really super old melody that I wrote back when I went under the alias Mothboy. And Mothboy was kind of just the unofficial title that I just gave myself online for a really long time. And if you knew me when I went by Mothboy at the time, I'm so sorry. Well, I say that. I shouldn't really hold like much against myself when I talk about myself in the past. Because for a really long time, those weird periods I had where I was just edgy and weird and crazy, that was just me being a mentally ill like 13-year-old at the time. You know, I'm like 20 now. But that is all to say that in a collection of experimental songs that I made like really long time ago, I called myself Mothboy, and I made a song called Gecko Walk, and it was like a little weird like crunched up chiptune track. And it had that melody like the and it was just kind of like a weird like wacky tune I made. I don't know why I decided to revitalize it in Splashduckyyy. I don't remember the reason behind that, but I think at the time I was just trying to like redefine a lot of old stuff I did. Because this next one that I'm gonna play soon also had a sort of wacky backstory. I had like a really old remix of the Hollow Mountain King sort of melody that I never uploaded ever because I was really embarrassed with it. There's this old friend from school that like listened the hell out of it. But yeah, that was the first time I ever used a breakbeat, was taking my yo-yo for a walk. Do I think I did a good job? I mean, I definitely used the loop in a way that a loop is typically used, you know? I didn't get super creative for a while until I think after I did Meet Me at the Playtime Pit was when I started kind of messing around a little more with how, like, so also, if you hear me, like, sniffle and stuff a lot, I am a victim to the vigorous, awful aura of a Bradford pear tree every day of my life. So every time there's a seasonal change, I get really stuffy. I'm allergic to that pollen specifically, and I learned that I'm specifically allergic to Bradford pear pollen because every time I've been to a place that does not have the blossoms or the I don't know, scraps, the dusty scraps of a Bradford pear tree, I'm all of a sudden okay, you know? I can all of a sudden, like, withstand spring. It's just, hold on, my charger fell, and I don't want my stream to end preemptively, because my laptop's weird. But, it's just the Bradford pear, specifically. So, yeah, I'm surrounded by Bradford pears, and at my current residence, my whole life, to this point, has been surrounded by these things, and my body was like, you know what? There's gonna be one unrecognized substance that we have to fight against, and it's gonna be anything adjacent to a Bradford pear tree. So we have that going for me. Anyways, yeah. I guess I don't know. I don't have that much to say after all that rambling. Yo-yo walk, taking my yo-yo for a walk is an okay song. It's a start. You could kind of see where I started getting into the things that would eventually take over my entire life. And speaking of things that take over my entire life, here's Undead Immortal Halloween. Oh yeah, before I do this, I was going to sample a really specific movie clip that I heard also get sampled in a song from a band that I love a lot. If you fuck with gothy rockabilly bullshit, you should listen to the Coffin Shakers. Anyways, Halloween by Coffin Shakers, they had this like speech at the end, and I couldn't remember what movie it was from, but I heard it before. I was like, we are the undead, immortal, and I wanted that in this. But I couldn't find it, so I just did it like a shitty text-to-speech voice, where I wanted it to be. Just so you know. Anyways, time to actually listen to the song, guys. God, shut up.
We are the undead, immortal. We are the undead.
Sounds like an Ace Ventura track.
We are the undead, immortal.
Hold on, I'm blowing my nose. Hold on. Okay, you're just gonna have to deal with me being stuffy. So that was definitely a song. I don't remember what the hell I was trying to do with that, I'm not gonna lie. And I will say the one thing that's disorienting about listening to that and Green Apple was, spoiler alert, I am working on a huge remaster project alongside all my other fun little projects. So I kind of almost forgot what the old shit sounded like. I don't really have much to say about that. Oh, the Enjoy Halloween Mortal. If you live under a rock, that's Marasmus. That's that's Team Fortress sample. I should sample Team Fortress more because I actually do love that game. I like playing that game, actually. Matter of factly, I like playing that game. I'm a free to play loser, but I like playing it. So, and that's the part that matters, you know? Anyways, I'm gonna give you guys the black screen for a little bit because I'm gonna change sets. And the next Splashduckyyy thing that I did, we are going to Splash and Dot Summertime Wild Sugar Rush Road Trip Mix. Now, if you remember from my Citrus commentary, I said that we'd get to this one soon. It's soon. So, I don't remember if I showed this one, the Ask Not Whom for Whom the Baja Blasts song. But I'm just gonna go through, like I did with the Citrus song. I'm just gonna go through all the tracks that have Splashduckyyy on it and then commentate on those specifically. I do remember I did Thank You for Being My Friend, so maybe I did do Ask Not for Whom the Baja Blasts. Maybe. I think. I don't remember at all. We're just gonna play it. And if I already commentated on this on my Citrus stream, well, y'all get to hear it again. Yay! Woohoo! Technonomicon drinking game. Take a shot every time you hear Booty Bounce sampled. It's time to kick up your ass. I love this sample for some reason back then too. And I'm all out of ass. Dick kick 'em. Yep. So, I mean, I could just regurgitate the same things I said before about my state of mind in this, but I guess I'll add a little more detail in it because I was just kind of ramble when I was doing the Citrus retrospective. So the kind of mind space I was in, it was not too long after I did Playtime Pet, and I was starting to really get into like doing my music more and more, and like I still kind of had the sort of the childlike whimsy sort of like effect with my Citrus tracks at this era. So I wanted to like do like a lot of fun like whimsical goofy stuff. But when I did, what was it? I don't know. I just have specific memories whenever I look back at this album in particular. And I think most of it stems from the fact that I was in like a crazy routine at the time. I mean, I was doing school, yeah, but like when I got home, it was the most vivid. I was like at a routine every morning. I got up, I would go to Maverick, buy those fucking tornadoes. I don't know if you've ever had a tornado. Those are fucking good. They're like this fucking like weird wrapped like sausage things, and like I always got like the French toast ones. Yeah. Anyways, I would walk over there, and then I would walk back, and then I would like also get like a bunch of candies and stuff, and then I would like kind of sit in my room. I would talk to my mom, and then I would sit in my room, and then I would like binge watch a bunch of cartoons and eat gummy noodles and like just I'm gonna be with no other way to say it. I was middle space maxing in this. In this, I was kind of shutting myself out from the outside world, and every time that I would be taken out of the outside world and like hanging out with people, I would feel very real. And so I just kind of like every time I did my music, it kind of had this very like whimsical, joyous sort of, exterior to it. Just because, I was just in a state of a lot of maladaptive bullshit. If in retrospect, I don't know, I was really manic, and then I was also like shutting myself like away from everything happening in the outside world and just kind of sitting. I had a loft bed at the time. Sorry, I had a loft bed at the time, so I would just sit under the desk, with my desk on the loft bed, and like eat candy and just kind of like middle space the fuck out and and then make music whenever I thought of something that got stuck in my head, and that was just my rhythm, It's just my rhythm for a really long time, and yeah, I don't know. But beyond my just routines at the time, I don't actually have that much commentary. This one, I mean, yeah, this one is the next one. It's a Splashduckyyy track called Soda Marble Cereal Crunch, and this has a really really hyper specific sample, and I hope you can do that. Break out! Break out! You know what? I'm gonna say it. That's the first Splashduckyyy track that I don't actually hate today. That is so for this one, Subtle Marble Cereal Crunch. Also, before I say anything, can you guys believe I forgot about this little guy here? This little guy here on Splashdukky's day. I forgot the man himself. Anyways, he's gonna be right there. But yeah. Subtle Marble Cereal Crunch. I sampled not just Wild Wild West. I did Neil Sisteriga's remix of Wild Wild West. Wow Wow. From, if I remember correctly, it was Mouth Moods. Neil Sisteriga is one of the people that got me really into thinking about like sampling a bunch of shit together and making something sound good, too. Neil Sisteriga is an inspiration for me on many levels, and I think that's really funny. Can you believe one of the dominoes in my life to whether or not I would be making mashcore was some random white dude on Newgrounds? But I digress. Yeah, I liked Wow Wow, and I kept thinking about Wow Wow. I also just kept thinking about like Neil Sisteriga mouth albums at the time. I think over COVID, this wasn't a COVID album, but like over COVID, I listened to a lot of Neil Sisteriga mouth albums. I had to get like a daily walk in, so I just like would walk around the neighborhood for an hour every day for PE credits. Because it was like the distance learning thing. And I just in one ear would have Neil Sisteriga mouth albums in my ear. That was pretty tight. That was a vibe. I think if I was better at getting up in the morning, I'd still be doing my mouth album morning walks, or just generally listening to something stupid and like walking around for an hour, because that's like definitely a way to energize in the morning, is listening to stupid like funny stuff to get you up in the morning, a daily laugh, like I'm opening up a Garfield comic strip. Anyways, next up on the Splashduckyyy list we have Bisexy. I remember this one being like a very rushed song on the list.
bisexual. I didn't know that.
By the way, I'm bisexual.
The joke is that I'm bisexual. I remember I had a whole idea for like vocal samples I wanted to put on this one, but like I was still in the state where like I would slightly alter tracks on Bandcamp because I was afraid that people actually gave a fuck enough about whether or not Plenterphonic shit was allowed it on like Bandcamp that I was like, but what if it gets taken down? And what if I get sued? And oh no. So like I just kind of made like a random instrumental here. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why the arpeggiator there sounds like that. But then we get to some of the more wacky Splashduckyyy tracks in the latter part of this album. Starting with Butterfly, 3AM Phone Call Remix, because for some reason I was also really afraid of like, you know, crediting my remixes, which is stupid, and I need to go back and fix that. But for this one, it's technically a remix of the song Butterfly, but it's more a remix of like the Barbie phone. You'll hear what I mean in a second. Here, have it. Wow, guys. Riveting stuff, you know? That one I'm okay with it nowadays. I'm okay with it. Yeah, no. I was doing a lot of experimenting because, again, I was just kind of, like, really in my own world for, like, a hot minute while making this. So I would, you know, when you're in your own world, there's nothing much else to do. And I kind of, like, there's a part of me, there's, like, a weird selfish part of me that, like, wishes, like, I still kind of was in that weird, like, delirious state. Because, like, I like, branched out a lot more. But I think about it more, and it was like none of the stuff that like I made when I branched out more necessarily sounded good. It just sounded like intriguing because it was mixing a bunch of things that like you didn't really think about that much, you know. Like it wasn't that it was good, it was just that it felt new and cool when I did it. But yeah, that's my cool awesome Butterfly remix, guys. That's crazy. This song is a Splashduckyyy track I actually still like. I'm being actually for real when I say that. And it's called Chillin' at the Structure. And if you know what image I'm talking about when I say that, yeah, I love that image. It's so cool. I actually drew, I think on SoundCloud, I drew Splash over the the image I'm talking about. But yeah, here it is. took from the end of the FX. And the rest is just silence. Yeah, I still kind of like that Splashduckyyy track. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, is it like the best? No, but like it's still cool. It still sounds cool, you know. I think that's awesome. Yeah. I remember, I don't know, I really wanted to make like really stuff that like sounded old school in like a really specific way. But see, my like glasses, my view of sorry. Hold on. My perspective of what old school was very, very, very specific. Like when I said old school back then, 90% of the time I just meant that I wanted to sound like the Prodigy. Which there's nothing wrong with that. Prodigy's cool as fuck. Matter of fact, I've been thinking every now and then of trying to like do like a Splashduckyyy like reboot, you know. At the moment right now, I'm not very happy with Citrus, and I'm not very happy with Splashduckyyy. I know it's crazy to say that I'm not happy with Citrus when that's like what like everyone their goldfish in my cult following loves me for, but you know, I'm just not feeling it right now. So I think when I am in the mood to feel a little better, I think I'll feel it a little better. But right now, I don't know, you know? But if I were to ever do a Splashduckyyy reboot, it would definitely sound something along the lines of this. Now, I don't need to put you guys through Nighty Night because that's one that I remember I showed you guys in the Citrus retrospective. So, you'll never guess where we're going. We're going back to the black screen. Nightmare, 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 nightmare. I'm trying to remember if there's any other Splashduckyyy things here. Not Nice Spell Bro. Nice Spell Bro was already dealt with. Oh god. I remember where we gotta go now. I remember where we gotta go now. This, my friends, is Imposter Syndrome. Now, Imposter Syndrome is another EP that I am not very happy with. When I made it at the time, I just remember that I really, really, really like felt this weird like conviction in my soul that I needed to put something out like immediately. What year did I post this? July of 2023. Okay, yeah, so I was still with weird people. I was still hanging out with weirdos. And not the good kind. I was not hanging out with good weirdos. I was hanging out with the kinds of weirdos that, I'm not gonna say that actually, that's petty. But to shorten it, I was hanging out with weirdos derogatory, not weirdos positive. Nowadays I hang out with a lot of weirdos positive, but at the time I was with some people that I don't hell no. But I remember in the summertime, I would typically, like, I don't know, I was going through this whole Serral phase. I was listening to a lot of Serral, I was listening to a lot of, like hard bass, I was listening to a lot of hard tech, I was listening to a lot of donk, you know? And I'm glad to get your hopes up when I say this, but there's none of that in this album. Actually, no, wait, no, hold on, there's some donk in there. But there was this sudden conviction I had to make my stuff sound a lot more professional, which is where Rage of the Technomancer came from, which, like Splashduckyyy, is having its identity crisis era. But I'm planning to sort things out once I get, like, these drafts that I want to get through, like, finally through. I have, like, 5 different projects. But Imposter Syndrome was an EP that I just kind of rushed out, because in my mind, hold on, we have to go back a page here. The last thing I made was Radioactive Waste Material in June of 2023. I don't know why I felt like I needed to like keep that ball rolling, but like I felt like I wasn't posting enough, I guess. Even though I would like make all this all this in a these two in quick succession after as well. I don't know. I just remember Imposter Syndrome being a EP that I like didn't really, I didn't like the music that was coming out, but like I was like, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So even if it sounded like shit, someone would like it, right? And I guess some people like it because shout out to this guy who bought this. I don't know who you are. I don't know why I'm showing your face on my stream like that, but you're a cool guy. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up now, and like just play the music, but yeah, that's my that's my pre-dialogue about this EP. Is I don't like it because it was rushed, and I feel like I could have done a lot more with the songs that I did. Anyways, let's hear them. Give me a motherfucking breakbeat. Sorry. Yo, fuck Jimmy Urine, by the way. I feel like I need to say that. Fuck Jimmy Urine. Yeah, so if you were to ask me what the fuck was going through my head when I made Imposter Syndrome, I'd tell you I have no idea. Because I have no idea. I don't know what provoked me to do that. I don't know what provoked me to do that the way I did it. I don't know what provoked me to sample the left rights, even though I have a pretty vehement, vile opinion on Jimmy Urine. I don't like him. But you know, I think at the time I was just kind of like, it's kind of a similar backstory to like a bonus track on the Awesome Face XD album. If ever in the far future I decide to do a retrospective on Awesome Face XD, if I ever make enough music of Awesome Face XD to warrant a retrospective over the next couple years, I'll do it. But I think I was just kind of clearing out like vocals I had, and I think one of them I had was that song, the Genesis, whatever the fuck. Was it Genesis like 1312? I don't remember. By the Left Rights. And then I also just had Nasty by Aisha because that's a fun one to sample. But I think at the time I was also just like trying to make music that was like DJable, which I think I only succeeded in that with like maybe like one of these tracks. But now that that's out of the way, here's a song from the EP that I actually enjoy. I like this song, and I use it in my mixes all the time. And it's one of the good things that came out of me putting this rushed-ass EP together, was this one good donk remix of Plancho de Danse by Sexy Sushi. And if you guys know Sexy Sushi, then I love you. Okay? Sexy Sushi's awesome. They're like a kind of electro clash group. I don't know if they're like a group anymore. They're kind of like an old band. But the music made by the Sexy Sushi duo is my favorite. I love it, and it's so cool, and I love electro clash, and if you don't like electro clash, then I don't like you. But yeah, Plancho de Danse, this is a donk remix of that song because I think that was the first song I ever listened to by Sexy Sushi. And that was also kind of an artist that changed the trajectory of how I want my music to sound. Specifically with my pilot Technonomicon stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Here's the song that I actually like out of this EP.
Personne m'arrête, même Dieu. Si je dis gratuit, je me sers bien copieusement. Il est pas les
Yeah, no, I still fucking love that song. I don't really have much to say about it. Oh, well, I have a bit to say about this one when we get to it. But yeah, I don't know. I fucking love sexy sushi, man. You know, like sue me, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I use that song in a lot of like test like DJ mixes that I do with myself. Speaking of, depending on how today goes, I might actually also like stream a DJ mix after. I'm done with this stream. So I'll end this stream and then I'll quickly put up a different stream where I'm doing that. But yeah. What? That's crazy. Now this one. Me when I see the local forest cryptids. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't like this one anymore. This was the one that I liked when I started. When I like started like making this. This is the one that I liked when I like uploaded it first. Does it still hold up in my eyes? Not really. I also like made this whole paragraph in the description of the song on YouTube. Talking about like, oh, don't cancel me, guys. I sampled the Renard thing. Oh no, guys, but I don't know. I don't know why I was like super worried. I always like kind of have this weird OCD like with the assumption that I have some sort of big platform when I don't really. And honestly, this might sound like a selfish thing, but I hope I stay relatively niche. I hope that like, you know, I obviously hope that people see and enjoy and like my music, but I hope that it never gets to the tier where people would be so parasocial with me that they would freak out over me sampling a vocal bit from an MSX song. Yeah, no, the entire joke with this song is that I'm a monster fucker. That's it. Oh, whoa, scary, crazy, let's listen to it. Least mixable song in this, by the way, as far as DJing goes. Yeesh. Yeah, so that one. Oh, ooh, yucky. Yucky, guys. Yeah, no, I don't like that one still. But yeah, listening to that did remind me of something. I think at the time as well, I was thinking like, maybe if I reference other people's things that I will get more traction. But one thing that I've learned And anyone who listens back on this VOD and wants to be like one of those cool furry artists, furry rave artists with multiple project aliases, one piece of wisdom that I'm going to give you right now is that if you want, now, and this applies to anything that anyone ever wants to make, doesn't matter if you're making a game, doesn't matter if you're making music, doesn't matter if you're making art, if you want to see success, never, ever, ever try to replicate the success of someone else. And I don't mean never be inspired, okay? If you have, like, someone that you are inspired by, right? And you, like, really, really want to, like, have something, like, inspired by them, and, like, you really want to have, like, that success like them. One thing that a lot of people forget, and it's because especially in, like, this current time, one thing that everyone always forgets is that the things that pop off and are popular and are seen as cool and good, even for just a little bit, the reason they're seen that way is because they're unique. And the reason they're unique is because they are the unfiltered style, soul, whatever you want to call it, of the artist itself. So if you want to do something like Hallie Labs, you want to do something like the other person that I won't casually name drop, everyone in the breakcore furry space wants to be like those two artists. I'm gonna say it. Everyone in the breakcore furry space that, like, wants to do the multi-project fake record label shit always looks up to either one of those two artists. And the problem with that is that if you rely so much on how someone else does something, your work inadvertently becomes extremely derivative. And if someone listens to your music and doesn't find it to be any different from the other material that they've already been listening to, there's a good chance they're not gonna, pay attention to it. And so if you want to be, like, in this sort of, like, scene and be seen and, like, have your work be known as something interesting and unique and fun, don't rely on how someone else got their success, and try to just be yourself through your skills. Does that make sense? Like, whenever I try to, like, kind of hop on the train of, like, oh, hey, Lapfox fans, I'm like this girl, but I wasn't, I didn't really see much. And the reason I didn't really see much is that besides, like, making the weird obscure references, there wasn't really a lot to go off of with my music, right? But when the second I made something that, like, was a lot more like my own style, my own groove, for example, the Awesome Face album, or hell, even Radioactive Waste Material, was just my, like, pure, like, unadulterated, like, soul, Same with the Arrow 40 album. The second you start making stuff that is yourself, that is your soul and your style, you're gonna actually see you're gonna see and find people that actually like your work. And I wish I could scream that to the rest of the world, because I see it so often in so many communities. I see it in the art communities, I see it in the animation communities, I see it in the music communities, I see it in the Vocaloid community, especially. A bunch of people that don't realize that the things that became popular were popular because they were unique. Everyone, like, considers everything to be this specific to the detail formula, but if you want to make it out there, you have to make sure that what you're making isn't just derivative of someone else. It's a reflection of your passions and what you like. Crazy rant to go on over a 2-minute song, that very poorly sampled Gabberstag. But I feel like that's a lesson that I learned after making this really, really shoddily put together EP as well. The things that are going to catch the attention of the masses, yes, the YouTube algorithm is cruel. Yes, like, there's a lot that's kind of gonna get in the way, and you will feel very often like your whole life you have to be derivative, but trust me when I say that is not the case. And every time something new trends, that is an example of why that's not the case. Like when Mesmerizer first showed up, that's an example of that being the case. When fucking, I don't know, when every time there's a new animation meme, that's also, like, you know, an example that, like, that's not the case. You have to remember that the things that are good and the things that you listen to that are good are not just good because they're following a formula. They're good because they reflect the soul and style and energy of the person who makes it. And whether or not people like that energy is that's what you know, makes it pop off. And I didn't know that at the time when making this. And the reason I'm doing all this is because there's a really shitty remix coming up. So I'm gonna tell you right now, this last one, the Disco Warp Sexy Vampire remix, entirely a shitpost. Like, this is, like, I made this to sound bad. Which is surprising to say for once with a Splashduckyyy thing. All of my Splashduckyyy music sounds bad. Except for, like, 2 songs. But, and, like, maybe 3 if I'm generous. But this was the one thing I made under Splashduckyyy that's, like, intentionally bad. So, brace yourselves after that big rant I went on.
せっかく祖父のジョセフが私のザワールドの正体を試験終了タイム直前まで問題を解いている受験生のような必死こいた気分で教えてくれ
You might not believe me, but just fucking wait. This bullshit right here is the early foundations of Awesome Face. Suck my cock. Hold on. I have the fucking. Hold on. So at the time, this girl I talked to every now and then, she gave me this wondrous video, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I don't have the video on hand, but I have the audio file, cause I keep thinking about sampling it again, and I'm just gonna play it.
Okay, roll 'em.
Suck my cock. I was fucking. Suck my cock. Oh, you're looking for Bugs Bunny fucking. Duck is gonna hunting just to get a rabbit's ass. But now the rabbit's gonna get
Suck my cock.
I was fucking. Hey,
Fuck off, Doc.
suck my cock. We
Really mean it. So stupid.
Fuck every morning, fuck every evening. Not much money, but all honey. We fuck.
So yeah, that's I mean, there's a few stragglers here and there, like but I've already talked about like Nice Bell Bro. I've already talked about like Thank You for My Friend. I've already talked about like, you know, a bunch of other like Splashduckyyy feature stuff. But yeah, this is the Splashduckyyy retrospective, guys. Wow, that was an hour 30 minutes. It took me an hour 30 minutes. Damn. Okay, what are my takeaways? Before I decide whether or not I want to do a DJ stream in the same day. Well, I think that you know, I've always considered whether or not I wanted to you know, delete some of my weird, like, not good music off of Bandcamp and stuff. But one thing that I think I've learned doing this and over the years of making music is I shouldn't be embarrassed over learning, you know? I still hate how my Splashduckyyy music sounds, but it was a learning experience, and it's stuff that I, like, learned from, you know? And I think, you know, everything else that I said earlier still applies. If you want to make something like this, if you want to make, like, you know, your own, like, multi-name, like, sort of legacy, you want to make, like, you know, the music that you want to make rave music under multiple names, you want to make whatever the fuck under, like, multiple names, and, like, have it be, like, a whole funny, like, fake record label thing, try your best not to be derivative. Like, with my heart and soul, I mean it. You're not gonna sound good. You're gonna kind of cannibalize yourself a bit if you rely too much on how someone else sounds to make the music that, like, you want to, like, reflect who you are. And I think the second I stopped, like, you know, doing shit like that, I finally found I finally found a place where I could, you know, find, like, it's kind of crazy to say, and it's gonna sound stupid, but the second I, like, you know, kind of took a break from focusing on all of my other names, and I just kind of put full focus onto Awesome Face, all of a sudden, like, I don't know, I got a lot more people, like, into my stuff. I got a lot more people, you know? Like, I'm obviously still, probably for a really long time, gonna be the guy with, like, the weird tiny cult following. But that's not a bad thing at all. And matter of fact, I love when I find people who are, like, really into the shit that I make. It doesn't matter how many people are really into the shit that I make. It's the fact that someone thinks I'm cool enough to, like, listen to my shit all the time like that. It's cool. It's awesome. I think, I don't know, I just got a lot more opportunities to do fun stuff. Some that I don't know whether or not I'm allowed to talk about yet, but, like, I don't know, I just, like, after making the Awesome Face XD album, there was just suddenly a lot more eyes on my work. Whether that be for good or bad reason, I don't really care anymore. Like, yes, I'm aware that, like, Rage of the Technomancer, gets a lot of views because its mascot is a big boobed cat girl. I don't give a fuck if it gets people to listen to my music. You know? But yeah. I don't know, this is the early remnants of my work. And yeah. Next time, I think I'm gonna do, I mean, we don't really have anyone else to do besides Pilot Technonomicon next time that I feel like doing one of these streams. And that is gonna be a really, really long one. Because we got this bad boy, this bad boy, this bad boy. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 albums. And then if we feel like doing the everything else stream, we can. Yeah, but yeah, if there's nothing else, I'll leave people to it. I mean, there's just been like maybe 2 people at a time watching this, so I won't like leave off with too many crazy things, but I'll still give a treat for people that you know, a treat for people that watch the VOD. I just realized I just showed off my stream screen. But that's okay. I don't think there's anything to, like, yeah, you couldn't get anything from that. But yeah, let me just leave you off with this little treat. This is a work in progress from a album that I'm not going to tell you the name of yet because I don't actually have a name for it. But it's a Awesome Face album.
This next song is called I Can't Try. 1, 2, 3, 4.